Welcome everyone to Sound of Manchester. I'm Kushagra, and unfortunately, I don't think these guys have the pleasure of joining me today for this record, but I have Pratmesh and Anurag, a really tired looking Anurag. His face mirrors our performance, and I'm pretty sure the tears in his eyes are not entirely because of sleep. So it's okay, man. They've done that. I've done my ranting. Some of you who might actually follow me must have seen. I got a lot of smiling emojis on the story I put last night. Like everything's crap, and like I did not even mention United, and it was so evident to everyone. And even had a couple of people I had not spoken to in 3 years, 4 years, just sending me a laughing emoji. It's like United, the most toxic relationship of your life, all of that. It was quite a scene yesterday. What makes it worse is almost everyone else won. As we record this, Liverpool have gone on and beaten Chelsea 2-0, and it looks like it's gonna be one of those seasons like last year, wherein now we just have to wait for how City cope. Coming back to what was with Crystal Palace. Before I give any any further views, because honestly, the entire 90 minutes I was just pissed off, and I saw no urgency from the team. I saw no pattern of play which I could really discern. I felt players were unfit. I felt Paul Pogba seemed unfit. I felt Bruno Fernandes seemed, again. I'm not blaming them because the point that Ole came out with in the post match press conference, he said, we've not had any preseason. So I'll probably start with that. Uh, your initial thoughts on the match, Pratmesh, and do you feel that the lack of a preseason re- can be used as a reason or a sort of an excuse for what has happened? Because it has been the same for everyone. I know United played like 2 matches more than everyone else, and I know it means that you're going to train for 2 weeks more, but do we really give them this leeway? Even we just have a comparison City, but we'll see how they go. I don't have any doubts that they'll be able to not cope up. I feel it's more than just that.
Uh, Kushagra, we played in the Europa League semi-final, wherein we were absolutely bad, really bad. After which, Bayern Munich, a team who we consider to be one of our historic rivals, where we aspire to be, playing alongside teams like Bayern, they played in the Champions League final. That was a few days, almost a week after we played. They won the Champions League final, as you know. Then, first game, they played that game before us, and they won 8-0. 8-0 against Schalke. So you could possibly say that, somewhat Crystal Palace level or slightly higher or lower, but somewhat the same level team. Bayern Munich played and won 8-0. So if you're telling me fitness is an issue, if you're telling me tiredness is an issue, if you're telling me that the players are not match sharp yet, I think that is the problem of the coaching staff. That is the problem that has to do with the players themselves, wherein they weren't fit enough or ready enough. I understand there has been a small gap between the two seasons, one that has ended and one that is starting now. But that's been the same for every team, and almost every team apart from us has been off the mark in some way or the other. Yes, there have been few disappointing results for our rivals as well, but they've played well in those disappointing results. So yesterday's game, Maguire and Lindelof were playing as if it is you and me playing at centre back. It was absolutely horrible. I think we could have done a better job. At least we could have, put in a tackle, got sent off, and at least done something that was worth noticing in the game rather than, watching those two play. But I don't think fitness can be an excuse in this day and age. They had a 3 months layoff during the pandemic. It was awful for everyone. But as a professional footballer, if you're given this excuse that you're not fit enough or match up before match day one, then that's totally fair.
Yeah, Anurag, just touching on that point, Maguire showed more fight in Greece than the team showed at Old Trafford last night. What was the scene?
I have absolutely no idea. Yesterday I was just reading an article written by Harsha Bogle on cricket's return. I mean, IPL's return. So one of the lines that he said, which really touched my heart, was cricket might not change the world, but it'll bring a smile on their faces. Oh my God, what Manchester United have done. And just put that in context with what Manchester United have done. My goodness, it's like just, you know, I don't know. It's like pulling out a dead body uh, from the coffin and killing it again. It's like that right now. What is how I'm wondering how else could I express what I've been express. So I've been using so many lines to express how bad Manchester United have been in the last 3 years that now I'm lost on it, and it's getting horrible. It's getting disastrous, and obviously again there are plenty of scenes that are going to repeat. There'll be a certain bunch who are going to start a protest which is going to last 3 days, and that could potentially get us Jadon Sancho, and which will not solve any problems. Now see, now look at this. If now This is exactly what happened with Bruno, right? There was a protest. Bruno came in, and everything was done that day. Uh, okay, they sort of like, okay, yeah, we've done our job. Now that's what they might as well do again. Okay, they might as well sign Jadon Sancho, and they will act as if they've done a huge favor to the club by signing Jadon Sancho at a time like this. That is the one excuse that they are gonna keep doing, and they might as well sabotage many more transfers on the name of Jadon Sancho. That is going to happen if Jadon Sancho signs. That is going to happen if Jadon Sancho is not going to come. We are almost told. Apparently, Dan James is on his way out. Apparently, he could be on his way out. Uh,
To
and
Leeds.
also, funnily, this is a club that has been considering. Yeah, this is a club that has been considering shipping out Chris Smalling. Now that seems horrible to me. Yeah,
He's a
exactly.
much better
Yesterday,
defender
after
than
watching,
Lindelof.
oh my God, at least I think I've Chris Smalling never screwed this bad. I can't remember him being this bad at
Yeah.
least. Okay, the standard that United were trying to set, maybe Chris Smalling was not was not really uh, fitting the billing in that sense. If Chris Smalling was not fitting the billing, definitely not Lindelof or Maguire. I think, my goodness, these are two of that was one of the most disastrous centre back performances I've ever seen. And
110
every
million we
time
spent on
Zaha
him.
was running at them, every time Zaha was running at them, it looked so horrible. It looked so horrible on the eye. And we see now how there was a time when Manchester United could get over the line even with half decent or a 75% decent squad under a Sir Alex Ferguson. Now look at every team. Brighton right now, I think they are playing 100 times better football than us right now.
Yeah,
Brighton of all the
yeah.
teams. Now look at Liverpool, look at Manchester City, look at Chelsea have done their business in the transfer window. It'll take some time. They'll get there. We just saw how Liverpool played right now. They're absolutely humiliated. They didn't defeat, just to correct your sentence, they didn't defeat Liverpool, Chelsea. They humiliated Chelsea, especially the second half. Uh, it was like kids playing against college kids, college students. It was like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, in putting United into all of this context, where are we? I mean, are we heading for a bottom half
Bottom
finish
half.
now? What are we going to do this? I really don't know. It's so frustrating,
Kushag,
to say the least.
Kushag, there is a chant on Georgie Best. You remember? When I
Yeah.
die and they lay me to rest, I want to go
I'll
on
go
the piss
on
with
pitch with
Georgie
Georgie
Best.
Best.
I guess that pretty soon watching United, we are going to be in that mood.
Yeah. I've said so much. I've written so much. Ranted so much. I'm almost like, if I had a white flag, I'd wave it. I'd throw in the towel. I'd use all of those expressions right now because this is a cycle that has repeated itself for at least 7 years. It was masked for 8 years under Alex Ferguson, and it is where it is right now. This is how it's going to go. You're right, Anurag. This may trigger the Sancho deal. I still do not have any trust in United to carry that through, but this may trigger it because a similar thing happened with the Bruno deal. That Burnley loss, and
Yeah.
everything was brought forward. Ed Woodward, in his pathetically coward man statement I really promised myself I'll not swear.
Right.
In that match program yesterday, he's using the
Oh my God.
Bruno signing as someone whom he's brought in, and he's such a fine player. I'm like, what the? I mean, it was 18 months too late. United were linked to Bruno the summer before the summer. We were
Yeah.
linked to him properly. If you go check out the reports, we were linked to him in 2018 summer, the last summer of Mourinho, but that the plans got shelved there, and he wanted to focus on a centre back anyway, which he didn't get again.
Which I didn't get.
Centre back was a problem then. Okay, you talk about Chris Smalling never being this bad. I'll just remind you, Goodison Park last summer 4-0. He was worse. Okay, so Chris Smalling is not the standard here. Our question, the point is, it's so bad that we're looking at Daley Blind and Chris Smalling playing for Ajax and Roma respectively, and saying, "Man, I wish we had them." That is the problem. The problem again lies in recruitment. Last year, you had 80 million to spend on Maguire, but you do not have 95 to spend on Koulibaly. Doesn't make any sense to me. Any sense. And with all due respect, if you had spent those 15 million there and not spent the 20 million on Dan James, how much of a difference would it have made?
I don't think any difference.
Frankly,
I guess the only reason they bought Maguire is the red passport tag.
That's just bullshit again.
That's very irritating again.
And
also the Bruno transfer, how late it happened. Now, just to add another point, it happened on January 29th. I very well remember, late in the night, there was a confirmation about coming from Fabrizio Romano. So, had that happened at least 2 weeks before, we would have secured a point against Liverpool. We could have maybe
we could have done a good job
against Burnley.
We wouldn't have lost to Burnley.
We wouldn't have lost to Burnley. And Liverpool played very bad against us at Anfield, especially.
Yes,
I think they played very bad that day. We had 85% possession in the last 15 minutes against a team that presses so high. We played brilliant that day. But just because we had Lingard in that position, we had Andres Pereira in that position, we didn't get that goal.
Yes. Even Rashford wasn't there at that point in time. He was injured. So it was entirely dependent on Martial to come up with something. And, unfortunately, nothing was happening. Pogba wasn't there. That was a dead team. Yesterday was the worst performance since Burnley. It's probably as bad as Burnley. And what's frightening is this with the new players, man. The players who supposedly finished third. We were talking about, I at least was saying about this last season as well, not last year. But it was a sort of a false position, Pratnesh, like finishing third in the league table. And I'd not like for it to be a longer video, but just as a last question that I'd ask you guys individually. You've seen what the transfer business has been. Stats came out today that United are the worst performing team in terms of the transfer market in the Premier League. Every other club has signed more players. I'm pretty sure every other club has sold more players, because all United have done is let go of an academy product and then let go of a guy who was leeching money anyway, and for whom they ended up paying so much money last year as well, because it was such a horrible, horrible decision to bring him to the club. Okay. He never wanted to come. You shouldn't have ever got him. The only thing he ever did was to play a piano, and those 2 assists versus City. That's it. That's the only thing I'll ever remember him for. Even that goal at Emirates, I couldn't give a shit. Honestly. So, all of this has led to just such a horrible mismanagement of the squad. How much of it you mentioned, some of the blame has to go on Ole. For keeping I don't understand why McTominay started, but probably match fitness. And same with Van Bissaka not starting. How much of a blame do you apportion on the board, or is it more on the coaching team?
See, there are 2 aspects. As you said, the transfer market, we are the worst performing team in that sense, and that has to go strictly down to the board. There is nothing that Ole can do about it. Absolutely nothing. He needed Telles, Koulibaly, or I think Upamecano and Sancho, which in the next 15 days would be an absolute miracle if that happens. So that is down to the board. Second aspect comes to the coaching. I guess you said McTominay played because he was better match fit, and I feel he had an okayish game. I think he was one of the better players on the pitch. Wan Bissaka had a niggle, so he didn't play. I think the fitness part of it, the preparation part of it, the motivation has to go down to the coach, has to go down to the entire coaching staff, not just Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I hardly see Ole even on the touchline. It's more that Mike Phelan actually steps out on the touchline and not Ole. And I think that is, and he's not that kind of a personality who you look at, see screaming, shouting. Okay, there's a different kind of managerial personality. But whatever happens, about what we see on the TV is a different thing. I think working on for this match day. The preparations should have been better. Whatever happened behind the scenes didn't obviously work out, and which is why the players weren't match fit on day one. They won't be 100% match fit. I agree to that. Not every team is, but at least 80%, 90%. Paul Pogba looked tired after 50 minutes in the game. Probably he wasn't even looking good in the 50 minutes of the game, but he was
Yeah.
absolutely exhausted after 50. That is not match fitness. And Pogba wasn't even with the national team. He had the virus. Obviously, he might have lost a little bit there, but I don't think still as a professional footballer you're gonna ever lose that appetite for fitness. I don't know why the team isn't ready. If the team not being match fit, if Ole is going to use it as an excuse, I'm sorry, you can't. You are at Manchester United, not at Molde.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that's a strong summation of Ole, a little harsh, but then, well, he has to fall on the sword that he's wielding right now, Anurag. Somewhat of a similar question to you. How much of it do you person to Ole, and how much of it on the business, on the lack of refreshment in the squad? Luke Shaw's come out and said something, but it's funny they were looking for a left back. Why are you talking, mate? I don't get it. He wasn't good yesterday as well.
Maybe he didn't want to play.
Exactly. I mean, we have two fullbacks or three or four. I don't know how many fullbacks. None of them who can cross a ball properly. That is literally funny. And we have aspirations of winning any trophy. I don't think we can win an Audi Cup with it right now. So
No.
okay, coming back to the question, main question. Uh, Now, right now at this position, we are not able to ship away Phil Jones. We are not able to ship away Jesse Lingard. We are not able to ship away players of that. You know the players that I'm referring to, the Andres Pereiras and all. Why? Because they are being paid wages, which I don't think any club in their sane mind would be paying them. Trent Alexander-Arnold earns more than Phil Jones right now. That's an absolute joke. That's an absolute farce. How does it happen? I mean, what is the criteria of a person getting payment? There are two clubs in the world right now that have the worst. I mean, you look at their wage structure, you look at the list of people and the wages that they're earning, and you see how the hell is this actually making sense. One is Barcelona, the other
Yes,
one
I
is
was gonna
Manchester
say
United.
Barcelona.
There are two in the world right now, like just in terms of you look at their wage structures and you say how the hell are these people earning this money, and how the hell is a player as good as this not earning anywhere close to the other ones. And those two clubs are Football Club Barcelona and Manchester United. And you can, and I think I could finish it there, and people would understand how badly both these clubs are being managed right now. Both these clubs are being run right now. A player of Lionel Messi's caliber, a person who literally made the Catalan Giants his home, who wanted to leave, made such a scene out of it, and he came out and gave a conference where he literally vented his frustration out like no other player ever did. I don't think I can't remember anything like that being happening. And even Manchester United, pretty much, I think we are going that time is not too long where before Van de Beek or a Bruno or any one of these people are going to come out and say the same thing about our board as well. And how for how long? See, uh, another one of adding to the Ed Woodward statements that you just mentioned. If you remember, he also mentioned that the fans are being too negative on social media. Are you
Yeah.
absolute fucking kidding me? Like, is this really a time to blame the victim? Literally, is it really a
So,
time to blame the victims? The victim of all of this? Yeah.
what should we do? Should we start dancing? Should we start celebrating losses? Should we start
No, we should.
celebrating failures? No, no. We know
As Sir
what.
Alex said, we should back the new manager. We are backing the manager. We're not backing you, Ed Woodward, and we are not backing the new global social media guy who have put out there to gain some positive impact. It's not going to happen. You're paying him for nothing. Rather pay that money for a player and we can sign a better guy and play better.
Oh yeah, I get your
This is
point. Yeah, it's like carry on, man. Carry on.
unbelievable. Yeah. Yeah, this is really unbelievable. And at the same, see, I think, see, my take on Ole is that he's done a decent job. I wouldn't say he's done a world-class job, obviously for obvious reasons. But I think I'm still not in a position to say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer deserves to be sacked or anywhere close to that, or anywhere
Yeah.
yesterday he got some decisions wrong. I would agree. And maybe the way the whole squad was handled over the course of the preseason, maybe you could blame to a certain extent about, but also Pogba getting the virus. And there are some things that, okay, fine, you could still let that go. But on the day, maybe he was not that good with some of his decisions, true. But still, he's far, far, far from being called, being blamed for this. I think it's 90% still on the board. They have,
Yeah.
they have not, they are to be blamed for the negativity that was in the squad going into this game. Had just imagine had Jadon Sancho come in the during that time when the rumor was very going on very strong. They when at the time when personal terms were agreed with Sancho, that was August first week. Had Jadon Sancho signed in that time, do you think yesterday that very team, trust me, no other, even with Timothy Fosu Mensah with in that sort of a form at right back, we would have still won this yesterday's game for them. I can vouch for that because the mood, it really matters. Bruno came in, the entire mood changed. World class players bring that mood change. I so seriously wish. Yesterday we had this conversation on a WhatsApp chat as well. I so wish there could be a meter which could measure the positivity one person can bring. Bruno brought that positivity. Jadon Sancho would have gotten double that amount of positivity had he signed a little before. Maybe he can still bring in if he ends up coming. But I think it's even now. I think it's a little late because there is some momentum loss, as exactly what people were fearing. Are you going to bring in player when points are lost? When we lose 6 or 9 points, I was going to say, why are you so confident that we'll lose points to Crystal Palace? And wow, our team just proved the critics right and proved me wrong. It couldn't have gone more horrible, Kushal. That's the only thing I'd say.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I really don't even want to put any kind of a spin on what you just said or what we've been essentially talking in this entire video. And as far as my closing thoughts, I would leave. I do not feel the motivation as well to even do a pre-match video for the Carabao Cup match that we had midweek, because how does it matter? Because really, I mean,
If
United
we
play
lose
a
to
league.
Luton, I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, we play Luton, and I don't know what's gonna happen. He's gonna play a semi strong side on the pretext that these people probably need games, but some of them already look tired and they're just absolutely inept. In terms of the central defensive performance that Anurag had mentioned, I agree with you. It's up there as one of the worst. I was mildly impressed by Maguire when he came in, but for a good 6 to 8 footballing months, I'm not counting the lockdown, he's been bad. He's been bad. He's been bad, say around from November, December last year. I haven't seen him pull up any trees. Honestly, I haven't seen him do much with the football that, or much in the games that can be considered, yeah, Captain Fantastic. And I'm really irritated with the way he consistently is useless at corners attacking wise. He's just useless. Scored that one goal against Chelsea, but he's useless. Okay, you see the threat even teams which never used to score corners like Arsenal have got by just one signing. And this guy, I can write, he's got at least 5 clear-cut goals that he's missed last season. At least 5. And I know it's not his job. I'm not blaming that, but there is no justification for us to keep Harry Maguire at starting. I know people quickly
Yeah,
talk
if
about,
you've just noticed his corners, every time he goes and falls on a defender, what he
or
does
he,
at best is
yeah, he just
he
fouls
gets a foul to
someone.
the other opposition. Yeah,
Yeah, he just keeps fouling
exactly.
people. How will he ever
I remember
score?
Fellaini, man. Fellaini was so much better.
Wow. So that. Those are the statements I don't want with this club. As for what is wrong with, for me, again, just cannot bring myself to blame the coaching staff at all. I cannot. You are right. If we could measure the positivity, there is none to be had. You're a laughing stock before you play football. You're a laughing stock while you play football. You're a laughing stock after you played football. That's the problem. You speak about Barcelona and United having the worst wage structures in the world. At least Barcelona fans have an out. The president can go next year, and he will in March. They'll have a new president. And all of the candidates in their manifestos have talked about financial prudence, about going back to La Masia, trying to play, in Johan Cruyff's way. And one of them has Xavi as the coach, the other one has Pep as the coach, the third one is trying for a Poch as the coach. Okay, so they have a plan. There is no plan here, and we do not have an out. That is the problem with this club. Once
Start
again,
following ISL.
yeah, do watch ISL, guys. ISL's back soon, so yeah, let's hope that goes well, and we're able to see a successful tournament there. But yeah, coming back once again, thank you so much, guys. We'll see you soon. Hopefully, United are slightly better in the next game, but once again, have no hopes from them. Thanks, Pratmesh, and thanks, Anurag. Hope this week goes better than the last one, and talk to you soon. Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for watching as well, and please do like, share, and subscribe the video. I know United are giving us all heartaches these days, but we keep carrying on. Let's hope for a better day tomorrow.